we talk to people who come to us for services, they often say the same thing. They want to be seen as whole people, not isolated problems. Issues such as housing and health and nutrition are all interwoven in a person's life. But the systems that treat these matters typically focus on addressing them in isolation, as if they were unrelated.
Solid Ground really is about creating this approach in which we want everyone to feel welcome.
So we thought, how could we break down the walls to make sure that every door opens to possibilities?
So the Every Door program here at Solid Ground is our opportunity to serve community members most effectively and efficiently and as quickly as possible with as many issues as they are presenting with, prioritized by them.
And that this is a safe space. This is a space where people, they can tell their story, and that story will be treated with the amount of care and comfort that it needs, and that they can get the resources that they need at any point in time. At Solid Ground, we tailor our services because we have to meet people in the ways in which they need that support. And that support isn't universal.
So the public assistance system was set up to provide really important resources for clients, but it can also create a lot of barriers for clients as well.
I got a letter from the state saying that I have child care overpayment. The letter said that there's a fraud. I couldn't sleep at night. I was just thinking about fraud is jail time, and thinking about how I'm going to be separated from my kids for a long time. Pretty much just traumatized me. I called 211 to get assistance from Solid Ground. I have no one else to turn to. We worked together for 18 months on the case. I can't believe the nightmare is over. It takes a huge load off me.
If you don't have housing, it's going to make it that much harder to be able to overcome all those barriers that people face. A really good example of a success story is a resident. She came from a domestic violence background, her and her son, and she's able to graduate from this program. She has done so well with creating community and giving back, just building herself back up from what she didn't think possible.
The community here, it's interesting because I think we all kind of know that maybe traumas have brought us together. We feel safe and we feel supported, and those two things have allowed us to get some traction in our lives. You don't always feel like people think that you deserve to be in a nice place. And I felt like my desire matched my environment. I mean, I can smell it, I can hear it, I can see it, I can feel it. I felt like we get to be here.
So community food education is a program of Solid Ground. Our program teaches folks ranging from pre-K all the way to adults. And we teach on the topics of cooking, nutrition, gardening, and generally kind of about food systems and how to navigate the food system.
I took a Cooking Matters class because it was offered to me once I moved into the housing program. So it's been about 1.5 years. I just wanted to encourage anybody that was, thinking about like making some nutritional changes, whether it be just for overall health or maybe a medical condition, that I would recommend it. I know that with myself that it helped contribute to a positive impact on some of my health.
Sometimes the doors we open are not to services or resources, but to power and to structural change.
I'm primarily involved in efforts at the state level to change public policies around our public benefit systems, around consumer protections for financial services, around addressing barriers to reentry after someone's been incarcerated, tax credits, a whole variety of things, but really working on how do we get more money into people's pockets and remove barriers from them being able to reach financial stability.
At the beginning, when I met Marcy, I got a flyer or something in the mail and it said, I'll get $20 if I come listen to these people and let them know what's going on in my community. And it was a listening session that they had down here. My experience is people that make laws and that have, the power to do that stuff, they don't know what it's like to be poor and not want to have a place, your kid only has one pair of shoes and they lost a shoe. They can't go to school, they don't have another shoe. You know what I'm saying? They don't understand stuff like that sometimes, and bringing our experiences to the table, I know that's important. Then I went up and I testified on this bill. Like if I know something that isn't right, I'll go up and I'll look up the bill or the law or the RCW and then figure out how it is wrong, how can we change this? How can we get this changed?
Sometimes the doors lead from isolation to community.
As we know, a lot of people with disability have no means of transportation or no abilities to drive a car or a vehicle. We have clients that actually don't have anybody, no family members, nobody to actually check on them. So our drivers going to pick them up is actually at the same time a wellness check on these people, and at the same time as an opportunity for them to socialize with the outside world.
I was in a confidential shelter before this door opened. It's the small things that lead to the ability to be able to say yes to the bigger doors, because sometimes those doors can feel scary.
So if you can reach one person, that one person can reach someone else, and then at the end of the day, you've made a difference.
We can't do it alone, but when we come together, that amount of advocacy, that amount of energy, that amount of support, that's a pretty powerful thing to be able to harness. And if we can harness it to end poverty, that's even better.
It takes all of us to make this possible, and there is a role for everyone in this work. Join us.